Hi all, this is Granny's GodPod 102. The date of the Crucifixion, Daniel's 9:25 prophecy. I didn't realise when I began how many weeks this journey would take me, and I hope you'll be happy when we reach our destination. I heard someone preach on the 70 weeks prophecy in Daniel chapter 9 and thought, wow, what a great way of promoting the Bible, especially when Gabriel's message was so Daniel would, quote, know and understand. Gabriel tells Daniel, from the going forth of the command to restore and build Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince, there shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again and the wall, even in troublesome times. And after the 62 weeks, Messiah shall be cut off. Naively, I thought, that shouldn't be too difficult then. Online, there are so many different interpretations to the one I first heard. I bought a copy of the book published in 1894 by Sir Robert Anderson, called The Coming Prince, following his calculation of the arrival of the Messiah using the Jewish 360-day year found in both Genesis and the Revelation. Gabriel's 69 weeks, or 69 sets of 7, equal 483 years, or 173,880 days. 173,880. Using adjustments for the change in Jewish years to our current calendars, Anderson came up with the date of 6th of April AD 32 for Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. This was assumed to be correct for many years. However, the Jewish Passover is always on Nisan 15th, rather like our Easter being a movable feast. In AD 32, the Passover was on Tuesday, April the 13th, so Anderson can't be right. The 20th century German professor who used modern astronomical charts and computers is also said to have errors. Since then, the years AD 30 and AD 33 have found favour for the crucifixion. I listened to so many different opinions online that I came nearly to the point of giving up, because I didn't have the necessary expertise, only a strong instinct that many were incorrect. I said, Lord, if Gabriel wanted Daniel to know and understand, why is it so difficult to get to the true answer? We know Jesus was crucified during the high priesthood of Caiaphas, who ruled from AD 18 to AD 36. We know Jesus was sentenced by Pontius Pilate, whose reign began in AD 26 and also ended in AD 36. So the crucifixion had to happen sometime between 26 and 36 AD. Luke tells us John the Baptist's ministry began in the 15th year of Tiberius Caesar, who became emperor in September 14 AD. At the time, both Persian and Jewish kings counted reigns from Nisan, March to April, making his 15th year AD 29. If Jesus was not baptized until AD 29, a 3-year ministry disqualifies a crucifixion date of AD 30, only 1 year later. John's Gospel records 3 times that Jesus went to Jerusalem for Passover. Chapter 2, after the wedding at Cana, chapter 6, in the middle of Jesus' ministry, and at the end of chapter 11, the one when Jesus was crucified. All 4 Gospels tell us Jesus was crucified on a Friday, the day of preparation before the Sabbath. John tells us this Sabbath was a high day, meaning one of the 7 Levitical feasts. The Gospels tell us this Friday was associated with the Passover, which was always on 15th Nisan in the Jewish calendar. There are only 2 possible years between AD 29 and AD 36, where Friday fell on 15th Nisan. Friday the 7th of April AD 30 and Friday the 3rd of April AD 33. The year AD 30 we've already ruled out, but some believe that AD 33 is too late, because Jesus was born during the reign of Herod the Great, and Luke says Jesus was about 30 when he began his ministry. So it was thought that Herod's death was connected to the eclipse in 4 BC, and if the Magi came to see Jesus when he was a toddler, he must have been born about 6 BC. Jesus would then be in his mid to late 30s, rather than about 30 when he began his ministry. This leaves us with a dilemma, because if the date of the triumphal entry is neither AD 30 nor AD 33, Gabriel's prophecy can't be true. Then my YouTube feed brought me a video by Michael Philippek, Filipek. Michael Philippek's book, The Daniel 9:25 Prophecy, is free to download as a PDF file on the website letusreason.com. He explains scholars now believe Herod's death was actually connected to a different eclipse in 1 BC, which means Jesus would have been born around 3 to 2 BC. Independent testimony from early church fathers say that Jesus was born in the 28th year of Augustus Caesar, which was 3 to 2 BC. With a baptism in AD 29 at about the age of 30, and remembering there is no year 0 between BC and AD, that also gives us a date of birth of about 2 BC, making AD 33 the most likely year of the Crucifixion. Next, we can work out the day of the week of the triumphal entry. Gabriel said 69 weeks unto or until Messiah the Prince. When did Jesus present himself as Messiah the Prince? For much of his ministry, Jesus said his hour or time had not yet come, but there was a point when he permitted it, even arranging for a donkey for the ride into Jerusalem, fulfilling the messianic prophecy of Zechariah 9:9. We know the Sabbath Passover, being the 15th of Nisan, means the day of preparation and crucifixion was Friday the 14th. So Thursday the 13th of Nisan was the Last Supper, after which Jesus was arrested. On Wednesday the 12th, Jesus' authority is challenged in the temple, after cleansing the temple and cursing the fig tree on Tuesday the 11th. This brings us to Monday the 10th of Nisan, our March 30th, as the date of Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. This is traditionally celebrated in the Christian liturgical calendar on Palm Sunday, the Sunday before Easter, not specifically on Monday 10th Nisan. Now, does the maths confirm the year AD 33? There were 4 decrees for rebuilding Jerusalem, but Artaxerxes' decree of 444 BC is the only one to authorise rebuilding the walls, as Gabriel said. We have already calculated the 69 weeks as 173,880 Jewish days. To convert these into the terms of the modern calendar, we divide 173,880 days by 365.25 to produce 476 Julian solar years. A similar calculation also produces 476 in Gregorian solar years. If we deduct 444 years, the date of Artaxerxes' decree, from 476 years, we are left with 32 solar years. But we have to add 1 year because there is no year 0 from BC to AD. So between Nisan of 444 BC and Nisan 10 of 33 AD, there are 476 years. I think then we can be confident that Jesus' death occurred on the 3rd of April AD 33. He breathed his last at 3 in the afternoon, the time the Passover lambs were sacrificed in the temple. Well, that's enough for now, but if you download Michael Philippek's book from letusreason.com, you will find other supporting evidence, including computer modelling that shows an eclipse producing a blood moon also happened then. Bye for now.